Good day, YouTubers, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all around the world. We got the lower deck done, and the next thing in the plans on the CD are making some supports for the beams up here above the deck. I just finished gluing that up yesterday and get these beams across for the next deck up. But before I measure and cut the beams or the posts to hold up the second deck, I want to cut this scrap deck boards off here, and we can start measuring where the beams go and the height and get them cut and glued in there. So you can see that we glued on a bunch of deck boards, 0.5 millimeter by 5 millimeters, I think. And then we took a pencil and a ruler and we marked very carefully the seam in between the deck boards. And then we marked where the nail holes would be also with the pencil. So I was thinking I might be able to grind these off. I don't know. Sure would be a little quicker to grind them off with a cutting disc on the Dremel, because doing this I may get some tear out on the top that I don't want. Doing this, I'm not sure where that edge is without making a line up here. So let me get the Dremel set up where I can just cut these off real easy. And we'll cut some posts to put underneath this second deck beams. Okay, a little bit of sanding and good enough. $36.8. This side is 32 or 31 and a half. Interesting. I do have a little gap there. I ain't gonna worry about that though. So we'll probably have to cut these individually. We'll do the longer ones first. Let's go 36.6, 36.8, 36.6. And we cut past the line a little bit. And if it's too long, we can sand it down. If it's too short, you're in trouble. Okay, so we got the posts glued in. And the plans on the CD called for 48 millimeters in between them. So I found the center of this cross beam on both sides and then made a center mark all the way across and then went 24 millimeters out and made another mark all the way across and then just eyeballed the bottom where it was plumb with the mark that we got on the top and used the line on the deck boards to line the bottom up all the way down. So that's our post. They did show in the plans that they had whittled down the center of the post to make it skinnier in the middle. Probably 2/3 or 3/4 of the way from the top to the bottom, and then have it full diameter at the top and the bottom, but whittled it down in the middle. And I'm not going to go through all that. This is good enough for the build. So frame number 2 is on the wide end, and these are marked for where the frames are. And the next thing in the plans, it says to do 13 and 14 onto the frames, and yeah, we're going to have to clamp it once we glue that up. And we want to get a liberal amount under there. There is a little bit of back and forth slop here. I do need to sand that laser cut mark on those. So let me get this prepped to glue up, because once that's in place and we clamp it to dry, we're going to have to wait while that dries with the clamps on it before we can put all the deck boards on here. So that'll be another step after a dry period. Alright, it's the next day now, and we can take off our clamps. It should be good and dry. So, according to the plans, the next step is to glue on more deck boards to match what we've got down here on the bottom deck. So, I'm going to take a bunch of these 0.5 millimeters by 4 millimeters and cut them in half, and start with the middle, lining that up. And after I get that one glued on there, I'll mark where that hole is, so later on we can cut that out. And we just keep adding boards on here until we get all the way out to the edge, and then we got to cut boards to fit in between there like we did down here. So it gets a little time consuming on the edge, but the middle part goes pretty quick. And after that, we'll have to let that dry. We might be able to, no, we can't put the next pieces on up here because we got to mark all these boards after they dry and put the nail holes in them. Then we can go up to the next deck. Okay, we got all the lines marked and the nail holes marked. And then we trim these out of the sheet and sanded them up, glued them on. We got to let that top deck dry before we go on. Now I could cut the posts. There's going to be more posts in here like there is on the bottom deck, but I want to go in and eat lunch. We'll let that dry for next week. We'll work on some more posts and other decks. Thanks for watching.